Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Thought I'd do a little bit of a wrestling discussion video. I did a classic WWF review of the Royal Rumble 1993 just a minute ago, so maybe I could leave you guys tonight with a little bit of wrestling talk about the current stuff that's going on. I know there isn't a ton of talk about wrestling right now. I know that there is house shows going on, and they're getting back into the swing of things after the Christmas break that they were just on. Man, there was a real drought of news throughout that week. But with the Authority being brought back to Monday Night Raw, and I guess the whole WWE with John Cena bringing them back after Seth Rollins made the demand, so that way he wouldn't kill Edge and Christian and basically take them out. It opens up the doors for a lot of things that's going down. Also on that show, we saw Daniel Bryan making his return to WWE. He says he's going to be making his debut. Well, I guess he didn't really say when he was going to make his debut. Who knows really what the Authority is going to be doing. I'm guessing that more than likely he'll be kept off of television for wrestling. I think the first time you actually see him put on his boots and pull up his tights is going to be for the Royal Rumble. I think that's the smartest thing to do. Definitely, Daniel Bryan seems to be the one guy that is bringing people in. We saw an increase of numbers for the ratings this week. Right now you're only caring about people buying the network, but then again with the Survivor Series, one of your big traditional five pay-per-views from back in the day, something that has name value. You also have the Royal Rumble coming up. Maybe people who don't subscribe to the network, maybe we're going to see another large number of people, going out of their way to buy the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. It is one of the people's favorites pay-per-views of the year. It's a very hard ticket to get in Philadelphia, but that's my mind. But who knows what the Authority's going to do on Monday. Daniel Bryan is cleared to wrestle. Maybe they saw that him coming out and making this speech about where he is, and he did surprise us with saying that he wasn't going to retire and that he was going to go into the Royal Rumble. Everybody fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. Maybe they will strap up and tell him he has to compete in some sort of a match on Monday Night Raw in order to draw in some big things. But what made the Authority leave and what the biggest story at the end of the night was at the Survivor Series was Sting. And now, of course, you've got WrestleMania 31's main event hanging in the balance of the Royal Rumble. And as of right now, the only names that we've seen added to this is going to be, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. I'm sure you can fill out who the other 28 names are going to be. And most names aren't going to be that hard. It's going to be your biggest players, your Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler's, Big Show's, Rybacks, the Harpers, the Usos, all of these guys that you see on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. There's no way in the world they're going to get left out of the Royal Rumble. Barely any of them have a chance to get in there. You'll probably see Fernando and whatever the other Matador's name. They'll come down in there and they're going to spot. But they always throw out the surprises of who's going to be there. One year we had all of the announcers from JBL. You had Booker T. You had Michael Cole, Lawler. All of them, they got in there, and then there was the year where they brought back. I just lost my place because I was going to talk about the announcers again. But you guys know who they bring back. There was the year they brought back Road Dogg and a few of the other guys. 2012 was rumored that we were going to see the return of a lot of the early 2000 guys, because they were all in town. It was supposed to be, Chris Masters, John Morrison, Hurricane Helms, Shelton Benjamin, a lot of guys that were in town wrestling in an indie show that WWE would have been able to scoop up and maybe get some good feelings about a lot of guys and bring them into the show. Ended up not happening, but the reason why the Authority was left off television was because Sting made his debut at Survivor Series. He came down to the ring, he took out Triple H with the Scorpion Death Drop. From there, he was able to put Dolph Ziggler on top of Seth Rollins for the 1, 2, 3. Will Sting make his presence felt at the Royal Rumble? I think that if he comes into the Royal Rumble, maybe he if he draws a number, I guess that would be his WWF, actual wrestling debut, or if he just comes down and makes an appearance. I've heard the rumors that you guys have heard, and we'll never know until it's all over and it's said and done with. But I've heard that Sting's deal that he signed with WWE isn't a real long-term deal. It's basically just for a number of appearances. I've heard the number is as low as 6. Basically, 1 being the Survivor Series, 2 would be WrestleMania, and 4 would just sort of fill in the gaps to build up heat with the match that is proposed to be for him and Triple H. But would we see that Triple H is stacking the deck maybe for Seth Rollins, who is the lead of the Authority, or maybe even the Big Show? God forbid. Please don't let the Big Show win the Royal Rumble. But maybe, Sting would come down to make sure that Seth Rollins would be eliminated, seeing how, Seth Rollins has lost his last few matches at pay-per-views due to outside interference. The Survivor Series was because of Sting. The TLC match was because of Roman Reigns. Who won? I guess he won the Hell in the Cell. I don't even remember there being a finish. I remember that Dean Ambrose seemed like he was going to win, and then Bray Wyatt appeared. I don't remember if Rollins pinned him or not. I'm guessing he did, because everybody's always talking about Dean Ambrose not being able to win on pay-per-view. But honestly, in my opinion, I think it would be cool to see Sting. There is talk that Sting's not going to be at the pay-per-view. I think if it's true, you only have 6 appearances. You've already used 1. You have to use 1 for WrestleMania. For January, which, leading us all the way in to the end of March, you only got 4 appearances in the middle. A lot of people are going to be, seeing the Rumble as it is already. You've already got your big match of Brock Lesnar going up against John Cena. You've got your debut of Daniel Bryan. A lot of people picking maybe a Roman Reigns win, and maybe a lot of people thinking that it's not going to happen. I think you got a lot of names on that show as it is already, and I'm not 100% sure if it's going to happen. But what do you guys think about Sting participating in the Royal Rumble this year? I think it's a long shot, but it could be, and something to definitely sort of think about in your upcoming Royal Rumble picks.